Okay, picture this for a second. Two guys are sitting at separate desks in the exact same car dealership, signing paperwork at the exact same time. One of them is leasing, the other is buying. And they both walk out the door absolutely convinced they just made the smartest financial decision possible. But the truth is, they're actually both wrong, because neither of them ran the actual long-term numbers. Welcome to Dollar Playbook, I'm Mason, and in today's explainer, I'm going to walk you through the real math behind leasing versus buying, totally free of the dealership spin.
So let's meet our two buyers, Jake and Marcus. To keep this completely fair, Jake and Marcus are in the exact same financial situation. They both earn $55,000 a year. They both want the exact same car, a $30,000 sedan. Same model, same trim, same color. They literally walk into the exact same dealership on the exact same day. The only difference between them is the contract they decide to sign. So who really made the smarter choice here? Let's look at the numbers they just signed on the dotted line. Jake chooses a 36-month lease. He puts $2,000 down at signing, and his monthly payment is an easy $299. He gets a brand new car, a full warranty, and in 3 years, he can just hand the keys back. Marcus, on the other hand, takes out a 60-month auto loan at a 6% interest rate. His down payment is $3,000 and his monthly payment is $522. Right off the lot, Marcus is paying $223 more every single month. Jake feels like he completely outsmarted the system. His pockets are heavier and he still gets to enjoy that exact same new car smell.
But there is a heavy psychological toll that Marcus is about to experience. See, when Marcus drives off of the lot, his $30,000 car immediately drops to about $27,000 in value. By the end of year one, it's worth about $23,000. Meanwhile, his loan balance is still sitting high at around $22,000. For those first 2 years, Marcus actually owes more than his car is worth. In the financial world, we call this being underwater. And mentally, it feels terrible, like every single payment is just disappearing into a black hole.
Section 1. The 3-year illusion. Let's step forward to the end of year 3 and check the scoreboard. This is a point where the verdict seems glaringly obvious to everyone watching Jake and Marcus. So far, Jake has paid his $2,000 down payment plus 36 months at $299. That's a total spend of $12,764. Marcus paid his $3,000 down payment plus 36 months at $522. His total spend is $21,792. On paper, Jake has spent $9,028 less than Marcus. Right now, it looks like a massive victory for Jake.
But year 3 is exactly where this whole story turns. Jake's lease is now up. He drives back to the dealership and faces 3 options. Option 1, buy the car at its residual value, which is usually around $16,000 to $18,000. Option 2, hand back the keys and walk away with absolutely nothing. Or option 3, lease a brand new car and start the cycle all over again. Jake does what 80% of people who lease do. He leases again. He puts another $2,000 down, signs up for another $299 a month, and he resets the clock.
And this brilliantly illustrates the fundamental difference between leasing and buying, a reality that the monthly payment completely hides from you. Leasing is a conveyor belt. Every payment Jake makes brings him one step closer to giving the car back and starting over at month 1. Buying, though, is a finish line. Marcus still has 24 painful monthly payments left, yes, but he has a definitive end date circled on his calendar. Every payment brings him closer to outright ownership.
Section 2. Month 60 and the flip.
Let's fast forward our timeline to the 5-year mark. This is the exact moment Marcus makes his final auto loan payment. Looking at the year 6 scoreboard, Jake has now completed 2 full leases. He spent $25,528, and he owns absolutely 0 assets, just a stack of receipts. Marcus, however, spent $34,320 total on his loan, but he now has 0 monthly car payments, and he owns a vehicle worth approximately $11,000 to $13,000. If we subtract that asset value from what he actually spent, Marcus's effective cost is around $21,000 to $23,000. The flip happened quietly, but it definitely happened. Marcus is now in a much stronger financial position.
Section 3. Hidden costs on both sides.
To keep this explainer perfectly balanced, we need to talk about what happens off the spreadsheet. That low monthly payment at the dealership hides a ton of conditions and long-term cost for both leasing and buying. Let's start with the hidden costs, or what I honestly like to call the surprise taxes of leasing. First, mileage caps. The average American drives 13,500 miles a year, which quickly breaks the standard lease cap.
Going over can mean a penalty of $750 to $1,250 due immediately when you return the car. Then there's wear and tear. A simple door ding or a spilled coffee stain can result in an unexpected $300 charge. There are also disposition fees of $300 to $500 just to process your return. And if you lose your job and need to exit the lease early, you could be on the hook for the entire remaining balance. Now joke.
But buying has its own real costs that people tend to downplay. Once that manufacturer warranty expires around year 3 or 4, every repair is entirely on you. For a typical sedan, maintenance costs average around $1,200 to $1,800 a year. One year it might be just simple oil changes, but the next it could be a $2,000 transmission repair that completely ruins your month. And of course, there's predictable depreciation. Your vehicle is constantly losing value, though that depreciation does slow down significantly the longer you hold on to the car.
Section 4. The decade difference. So what happens when we zoom out even further? Tracing this 10-year journey reveals everything. Let's introduce the ultimate 10-year scoreboard to show the compounding, real-world results of Jake and Marcus's choices over a full decade. From year 1 at the dealership to year 3 where Jake resets his lease to year 5 where Marcus makes his final loan payment, over this decade, Jake has leased 3 to 4 separate cars, continuously paying fees, down payments, and mileage penalties. Marcus, on the other hand, has enjoyed 5 full years with absolutely no car payment, simply covering standard maintenance and enjoying the true freedom of ownership.
When we compare the final math at the 10-year mark, it is honestly staggering. Jake's total spend lands between $45,000 and $52,000, and he holds 0 assets. He owns nothing. Marcus's total spend, including his loan and 10 years of maintenance, is roughly $44,000 to $48,000. Not only did Marcus spend less overall, but he still has a fully paid-off asset sitting in his driveway worth $4,000 to $6,000.
When you net it all out, the difference over just 1 decade is a massive $15,000 to $25,000. Now, I really want you to think about this. Most people are going to repeat this vehicle cycle 3, 4, or even 5 times over their adult life. Multiply that gap, and you are looking at a 6-figure difference in lifetime wealth between someone who habitually leases and someone who buys and holds.
Section 5. When leasing actually works.
Now, I always want to give you the full objective financial picture. It's important to clarify that leasing isn't always a mistake. Here are the specific scenarios where the math actually favors leasing. First, if you own a business, lease payments can often be written off as a business expense, which completely erases the financial gap. Second, if you drive a luxury or high-performance vehicle, like a high-end BMW, where a simple brake job might cost $4,000, leasing keeps you permanently inside that protective warranty window. And finally, if you take the $223 you save monthly by leasing and you strictly invest it into an index fund returning 8 to 10% annually, you could come out ahead. But let's be real, that requires a level of strict discipline most people just don't have.
For the average person, driving an average car, buying and holding wins, as this perfectly summarizes. The real trap is making a $30,000 decision purely on a monthly payment without ever asking what this costs you over 5 years, 10 years, or a lifetime. Long-term total cost matters so much more than what you pay month to month.
Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this explainer helpful for your personal finances, please take a quick moment to like, share, and subscribe to Dollar Playbook for more clear, practical money lessons. So the next time you're sitting at a dealership and someone slides a piece of paper across the desk with a monthly payment that looks almost too good to be true, I want you to stop and ask yourself this one powerful question. What does this actually cost me when it's all over?